Before we start the actual process, there are a few rules. We've got 5 here, not too many to remember, but you have them here and you can print them out if you need to check back at them. But these are very important basic principles. So the first one is, always only ever use the name that you are first ever recorded as, your birth certificate name if you are recorded on the birth certificate. Perhaps you were adopted or you changed your name by default, or for whatever reason, always use the name you were given at birth by your parents or caregivers, okay? And I'll keep saying that. It must be your birth name, the first name you're ever recorded as. The second rule, in soul path numerology, there is a key which we have, which is the value, if you like, or the corresponding number to each letter. Now, in this system, there are 22 energies. We're talking about 22 energies. And although the English alphabet is 26, there are some overlaps. So just remember, there are 22 energies in this system, and we'll be referring to that again. And there is a key provided here in this presentation, which gives you the corresponding number for each letter. So you always apply the corresponding number to the letter, okay? That's another rule. Always, when you see the name, look if any of the following letters are actually together, if they appear. Now look what we have here. We've got the letter T and A together. We've got T and H, T and Z, A and H, C and H, SH, and WH. It's important. The first thing you do is when you see these letters, ring them, put a ring around them, highlight them, whatever way it's distinctive, because we treat these combinations, when these two letters are together like this, we treat it as one sound. Therefore, it will only have one number to go with it. Here's an example. If you have SH, as in, say, Sheila, then S on its own would be 15, and H would be 5. But together, S and H is 21, because it's treated as a single sound. The next rule, check at the end of the name if there's a P or an M. And I mean at the very end of the name, the very last letter of the name. Not the first name, middle name, but the very last letter that's in the string of letters that makes up your name. If it's a P or an M, then the value in this case will be 12. I hope you're not getting lost yet, because it's little rules at the moment. This is so easy when you get into it. And the last rule, we always generate number pairs. We're using a form of numerology, remember. And in this system, which is roots in Chaldean ancient numerology, we always have pairs of numbers, okay? Now, as there are only 22 energies in the system, the left-hand number of the pair must be 22 or less in value, okay? So you can't have the left-hand number any higher than 22 because we only have 22 energies. The right-hand number of the pair must always be less than 9 or equal. There's an example. 16, 7 is an example of a number pair we would have in this system. So there you have it, folks. They're the simple rules. I hope you're not lost. Follow on, don't give up, and you'll be able to do this very easily. Thank you. Moving on to the next slide. So I hope you have your pen and paper or pencil in front of you now. What you do now is write out your name. Write out your name as it was given to you on your birth certificate. Any middle name that you're given, or whatever. In some countries, some countries actually do put the surname first on the recording, and that's how you write it out in this case. Now, for example, demonstration purposes, we're going to use Michael Joseph Jackson, the famous singer who passed away a few years ago. And we're going to use his full birth name, which was Michael Joseph Jackson, as a demonstration, okay? So, first thing we do is make a little table. Write out the letters as you see in that table there of Michael Joseph Jackson. Another thing, go back and refer to the rules. You refer to the rules that I mentioned earlier. And the first thing you do here is it the birth name? Yes. Second thing you do, are there any combination letters like CH? Look at it, it's there. It's the third box across the chart. So what you do, put a ring around it, highlight it, make it distinctive as a single unit, okay? When you've done that, then we move on to the next part of this process. Okay, you've written down the name, You look for any combination letters, and also did you look to see if there's any end letter like P and M? Right. Here is the actual numerology key. These are the letters with their corresponding number. Have a quick look across these. We've got the English alphabet, and we've got the array of numbers. And as you move to the right-hand side, notice that how you have the combination letters and their corresponding numbers. And then we also have the final letters of P and N, and that number of 12. This is something you want to keep. This is something you want to print off. You need access to this if you're going to use this to decode your higher purpose. Okay, let's move to the next one. Now what you do is, under each letter, write the corresponding number or vibration. We refer to these as energetic vibrations. So using your key from the previous slide that you may have printed out, or you can flip back to it now and pause me, just check the letters C and H. What's the number? It's 8. Put that in first. Now go back to the first letter, M, and you'll see that its value is 13. Moving on, I, the value is 10. And it's simple enough just to carry on through. Be very careful with this. Don't transcribe the incorrect number, or you'll be doing the chart for somebody else. It's a totally different person. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. I hope you're finding this okay so far. It's straightforward, hopefully. Just keep with me, and the beauty of this is that you can always replay and rewind and pause at any point at which you want. So the next step is, I'd like you to draw a 6-sided star. 6-pointed star, I mean. It's the Star of Creation, Star of David, lots of different names. Shatkona in Hinduism. How do you do it? It's one big triangle overlapping another big triangle. One is pointing up, one is pointing down. Easy. So have a go, draw that, and when you've done the star, what I'd like you to do now is, on the top right corner, the top right point of the star, you'll see a yellow star, yellow golden star. Start's where we always start in this system to put down the letters. So what you've got to do now is, going in a clockwise motion, you write down all the letters of Michael Joseph Jackson's name. So the first point is M. Moving down to the bottom right point, it's I. And moving to the next bottom lower point is C and H. Remember, C and H is seen as a single sound in the system. The next one is A, the next point is E, and the next point is L. So if you have a quick look at that, we've got Michael spelled out M-I-C-H-A-E-L around the star. But we don't stop there. There's more letters to finish. So we'll move to the next slide. So how did you get on drawing your star? It's easy. It's just 2 triangles, one overlapping the other. So we have the other letters to apply, and as you can see here in this slide, continuing in that clockwise motion, we spell out Michael's name around the star until all the letters have been used up, and you can see that's the case here. So, not too difficult so far. Straightforward, I hope. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Now, this is where things get a bit more exciting. We're introducing the numbers. As I said, this is a form of numerology that we use to get the information we require. So we have all the letters of Michael Joseph Jackson placed clockwise around the star until they're all used up. Now, referring to that numerology chart I gave you, check the letter for the number. Now you would have written this out in the table, your name with the corresponding numbers to each of your name's letters. You use that table now to put the values on the star for yourself. And what do? You end up with M, J, J, and N for Michael Joseph Jackson. Look at the top right point of the star. M is 13, J is a value of 10, J is a value of 10 again, and N is a value of 14. So carry on around the star, making sure that every letter has its corresponding number. And moving on to the next slide. So now we have the letters on our star with their corresponding numbers. And if you follow the example here, on the top right point of the star, where we start off usually, we have M, J, J, and N. And what we do now is
add up the numbers in that position. So it's 13 plus 10 plus 10 plus 14 is 47. There's a magic number in this system, isn't there? 22. 22 energetic vibrations is all the total that we have. Therefore, 47 exceeds 22. So we need to reduce it. How do we reduce it? It's very simple. Just add the digits in the number. You add 4 plus 7, and that gives you 11, which is below 22. It's acceptable. That's fine, and that is the way. Simply add the digits. So that's, well done you, that's the left-hand number of the pair. We have a right-hand number to decode. How do we do that? You add the digits in the 11. 1 plus 1 is 2. That's the right-hand number of the pair, 2. So the vibration at this position is 11.2. So now we move forward. I want to give you an example of something that's slightly different, but it's still using the same principles. Go to the bottom left where we have A, E, and K. Okay? Now, the numbers are 1, 5, and 19. The total being 25. That's above 22. What do we do? You know it by now. You add the digits. 2 plus 5 is 7. So the left-hand number of the pair is 7. So how do we get the corresponding right-hand number? Well, because there is no other number, and it is below 22, and below, you just go 7, 7. You duplicate it. This becomes very, very easy with practice, so follow through. I'll give you another example that's slightly different. Look at the bottom point on the star, the most southern bottom point. We've got CH, S and C. The numbers are 8, 15, and 11. When added together, we get 34. That's above 22. So we need to reduce it. 3 plus 4 is 7. Again, what's the right-hand number? There's nothing to add it to, so it's just 7. 7, 7 is the number pair. So carry on with the rest of these for your own name, and we'll complete with the actual final table on the next slide.
So you've done your calculations. You should have a star with lots of letters, numbers, and then pairs of numbers. Following the example I've given you is a safe way to get this right. If you think there's an error, go back and check. Check with very basic things. Did you get the right number for the right letter? Simple maths, just check. So now we've got a table, another table. It's made of 2 columns, as you can see, and 8 rows. Just draw something like that. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's just somewhere to put numbers. And what those numbers are, if you look at the rows, 11.2 is the first number in the top right-hand point of the star of Michael Joseph Jackson. And moving clockwise, the next point, 17.8. So go ahead, make a column of 2 columns, and 8 rows, and transcribe your numbers into this. When you've done that, you'll be totaling the left-hand column numbers, and you'll be totaling the right-hand. In this example, the left-hand total is 57. 57 is greater than 22, so therefore we must reduce it. And how do we do that? By adding the digits in the number. 5 plus 7 is equal to 12. Move to the right-hand side. The total is 30. How do we reduce that? It's above 22. Just simply add 3 plus 0 is 3. That gives you 3 as the right-hand number in this pair. And what you've revealed is that the higher purpose vibration or number for Michael Joseph Jackson is 12.3. And you might be saying, it's all very well getting the numbers calculated, of course, but what do they mean? What do they mean for my own life? What is my number? So we move to the next slide, which is a great big detailed table. And if you want a greater scale of this table so you can read it in more detail, I suggest you print off the PDF from the website at www.healingspiritwithin.co.uk. So let's move to the next slide now.